Hi, I'm Dr. Allen at Jones Animal Hospital. Thanks for joining us today on Vet Visits. Today I'm going to talk about something that comes up honestly quite a bit, and it's a real problem for the pet and sometimes for the pet owner and sometimes for the veterinarian too, if it's not properly addressed. And that's anxiety. Anxiety and stress in our dogs and cats. You know, dogs and cats experience anxiety just like people do. Some are just chill and everything is good and nothing bothers them at all. And some are frightened of everything. The whole world is a scary place. So I'm primarily addressing today those animals that everything is scary. They're frightened, and they're not having a good time. They're not having a good life. And what can we do as veterinarians, and what can you do as pet owners to help to suppress that, to help make them more comfortable, to make them have a better life? Well, the place to start, and primarily I'm going to talk about with dogs. Cats, it's not near as much of an issue, so my primary focus is going to be dogs. It begins with socialization, and the socialization begins when they're very young. The prime time to socialize a dog is between 6 and 14 weeks of age. And if you miss that time, you can make up for it a little bit later, but it's much harder, and you can't really do as good a job. So during that window, 6 to 14 weeks of age, the more that pet's handled, the more different people who handle it, boys and girls, everything from toddlers to great-grandparents, teenagers, young adults, middle-aged, older people, all generations, men and women, beards, hats, uniforms, all different ethnic groups. The more different people you can get, to handle that puppy, to love on them, to play with them, to hold them, to give them treats, the more likely that puppy is to think all these different presentations of people are okay. None of them eat dogs. They're going to be okay through their life. And they're much less likely to go off on somebody when they're a year of age, and see somebody with a hat or a beard for the first time, and they've never seen that before. Many times people will go, oh, well, somebody with a beard or a hat must have abused that dog when it was young. Well, occasionally that may be true, but usually it's just they never saw anybody with a beard, or they never saw anybody with a hat when they were in that formative time, and now it's scary. So work it hard. Work it hard, 6 to 14 weeks of age. As many different people as you can get to handle the puppy. You can't handle them too much. Give them treats. Some folks will carry treats in their pockets and go to people and say, hey, give my dog a treat. And then the puppy looks at strangers as being treat dispensers. Their experience with strangers is, hey, they're likely to give me a treat. I'm happy to meet new people. So that's going to pay dividends through that dog's entire lifetime to decrease their stress level, because they're not going to be stressed by new people. Also give that puppy lots of different situations. Get it around other dogs and cats, different sizes of dogs. Get it around, if you do boats and water, get it around boats and water. If you do livestock, get around livestock. If car trips are a big thing, go to cars, go to the parks. There's stores in our area that let you bring pets in. Lowe's and Home Depot, PetSmart, Pet Partners, places like that. Tractor Supply. Those are all happy for you to bring your well-behaved pet in, and be considerate. You'll take something to clean up after it if it has a mess. But what you're doing is you're giving that puppy experiences, and the more experiences you can give the puppy, the less likely it is to be stressed later on. So work that pretty hard. So that's the foundation of reducing anxiety in dogs. Some dogs, though, are genetically pre-programmed to be hypervigilant. They're frightened about everything. And even though you did everything right, they're still kind of frightened and scared of things. So what can you do to help them? There are a few things. Many people have heard of thunder shirts. And thunder shirts, when I first heard that come out, I thought that was just a gimmick. Thunder shirts really work. And it's just a snug, tight-fitting little coat you put on the dog. And it doesn't work on all of them, but it works on a lot of them. And it just gives them a sense of being snuggled in and comforted, and that helps decrease their stress and anxiety. Crate training dogs when they're young, where they're used to a nice, dark, quiet crate. That gives them a den. Dogs in the wild have dens they retreat into. If you fix a crate and get your puppy used to a crate, that gives it a safe place to go if it's frightened, where it can kind of tone things down and de-stress. So having a safe place to be. And make sure, especially if you have a house with small children or people who are all over the dog, make sure they respect the dog's space when it's in its crate. Let it be your puppy's or dog's safe place where it can go to kind of get away from things. Somebody's having a place to de-stress can make a big difference. So socializes puppies, thunder shirts if they're stressed anyway, crate training to have a safe place like that. Those are all things that are pretty easy to do to help decrease anxiety in pets. Medications. Some pets wind up, for whatever reason, being horribly frightened of fireworks, thunderstorms, things like those. There are certainly medications, anti-anxiety medications we can put them on that helps that quite a bit. I have patients that, the entire storm season, they keep their animals on medication to help decrease anxiety. And it makes the animal's life much happier, makes the people much happier too, because the animal's not destroying their home every time a thunderstorm comes through. And if you can predict it, if you know your dog has a phobia to fireworks, well, by golly, the 2nd of July, every year you start giving them medicines. You give them the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and you keep them medicated through that whole time. Now, I'm not talking about making the pet a zombie, but decreasing its stress level, calming it down, making life better for the pet, which makes life better for the client too. Vet visits. Sometimes dogs get really stressed out coming to the vet. No matter how much we've tried to socialize those puppies, give them treats, do all the things we know to do to make them more comfortable, some animals just get stressed out coming to the vet. A lot of strange smells, strange people, other animals around, things like that. Some animals require medication to come to the vet. If you've had a bad vet visit, and sometimes you never know. Sometimes you don't know it's going to be a bad vet visit until you get there, and then you realize the animal is just scared to death and it's having to be restrained, and it's just not a good experience for anybody. So if you know that happens, talk to your veterinarian and say, hey, how can we make this better next time? And your veterinarian will, in all likelihood, say, well, there's medications we can do. And you can, depending on the level of stress, sometimes just starting them the night before your visit, give them the night before and the morning of, and then everything is very smooth. Some animals, though, have a much higher stress level, and you may have to be in the medication 3 or 4 days before to have a good level built up and kind of have everything chill, and then medicate them again before you come in order to have an acceptable visit. And by acceptable, I mean the animal's not stressed, it's not frightened, which makes it much better for the pet, much more comfortable for the pet owner, and allows us to do a good job. Yes, we'll work on animals that are trying to kill us. We can give them shots, and we can sedate them, we can put muzzles on them, we are experienced in holding them, but it's so much better for the pet if we can have pharmacologic intervention ahead of time to de-stress the animal, to make things much more pleasant. That makes the visit much better for the pet and makes them much less likely to have a bad visit next time. So there's things that can be done ahead of time to help decrease the stress and the fear and the anxiety, to make it a better situation for everybody. Sometimes things stress pets that we would never think about. I've had clients come in with pets that are stressed because they changed shifts. They went from day shift to night shift. Somebody got a job who used to be there with them all the time. They've had work done on their home. The heating and cooling guys came in. They had new floors put down. They had painters come in. They're paving the street outside. So it's funny things that can change a pet's routine that can cause stress. So recognize that those things may be stress-inducing for your pet. Try your thunder shirt. Try your crate. Try special treats. We have medications that can help too, though, if they need it. And there's no reason to sit there and be frightened and be stressed out. And that tends to become a cycle that just gets worse and worse. Recognizing it early, breaking the cycle early, is so much better for the pet, and ultimately much better for you too, because you have a better adjusted, easier to get along with pet that enjoys life, and therefore you can enjoy them. I'm Dr. Allen at Jones Animal Hospital. Hope this has been helpful for you. Thanks for joining us today on Vet Visits.